Is that Jack Doherty lacking with no security, with his whole family, no security?
Been a while since I thought of another top 5 we hate moments video, so I'm bringing it back with another installment in the ongoing saga of top 5 more things we hate in TDS.
Number 14.
I still see this one happening pretty much every single time I play with randoms, and at this point I just don't even care about playing with randoms. I just play solo all the time like I usually do. But this is essentially DCing players, and I've already discussed DCing players in the first, I believe, installment, and how bad pretty much just quitting no matter what game mode it is. We're gonna be going over the other thing that is just downright terrible as well, and that is the fact that when someone DCs, all of their towers they place will actually just remain there, completely just left to rot, I guess. And the worst parts of these is that sometimes these towers can be really terrible, like for an example, a fucking hunter who places on a hunter anywhere on the path. And sometimes you could just make some room and put down another teammate, but if that teammate was the only one to have DJ, then everything is just not gonna go so well. Then there's other circumstances where they have very crucial towers, like for an example, accelerators, engineers, maybe even pursuits that they just leave and haven't even been maxed out at all yet and are placed in the worst places quite imaginable. These towers literally won't just do anything at all, and worst case scenario, these towers just take up space to where you could have placed down any sorts of supporting towers to help you guys out.
Number 27.
Okay, this is gonna be much more of a specific types of people, but this is more or less people who just haven't finished the battle pass. Now, I don't really know what to say about the battle pass, the last one, the Halloween one, and then this one. I guess both of them are mid in my opinion. I don't like them like that much at all, especially not the premium option. There's really not that many good stuff in there, so yeah, there's that. But for people who just want to get every single little thing in the game, and of course means also the pass and the premium option, this essentially means that you have to devote for the next, I probably think like few days, probably even week, grinding the fuck out of this game, or probably even just purchasing every single tier literally right at the start in order to unlock everything. You know, when the time limit expires and you're just sitting there like, god damn it, dude, I just wasted $5 and didn't get necessarily everything. I mean, it's fine for people who just don't want to get everything like me. I don't really care about skins and stuff like that, especially if they're not up to my taste standards. So I don't really care about not getting any of the stuff in the premium option or the free pass, just only the things that I might want. But for people who want every single little thing in the game, basically missing out on a pass on like a little bit of stuff, or maybe even a whole majority of items, can be really crushing. Stocked loadout, look at this, every single skin, every single tower, from literally the birth of the game to the very end, and pretty much missing out on a pass is, I'm pretty sure, a lot of people's worst nightmares.
Number 7.
This is something that a few people might agree with or disagree with, who knows, but this is essentially the daily reward streak, to which every single time you log in, you get a bunch more better stuff, such as crates, some gold coins, and the more and more your streak goes up, the much more better your rewards get, until eventually you've reached the final reward, which is a free deluxe crate, which is very generous, not gonna lie. I mean, the other thing they did, which was kind of generous, was that they gave us the spinning wheel thing, which is a pretty decent rewards, but the chances of you getting anything is pretty much slim to nothing. So the thing about this is that you need to essentially log in on every single day without stop, without missing one day, or probably even like 1 hour difference in order to keep your streak in. Kind of a little bit of a tedious thing where you have to get up at the exact time, or at least a few minutes beforehand, and just pretty much log in before that streak ends. And if you lose that streak, that sends you all the way back to the very first option reward. And quite honestly, that is probably one of the most devastating things, because that is like days difference, or probably even weeks difference there, that you have to redo in order to get the exact same rewards just to get that final reward there. Now, I have been grinding out this thing quite a lot, so I'm over like 60 days or something, or like 30 days or something like that. So being sent back to the very first day is kind of my worst nightmare, and hopefully that never happens again.
Number 9.
Number 2 spot, we're pretty much beating a dead horse here, but it is essentially the missions. So I believe it's the third to the last, or probably even the very last optional task, or not optional task, but the very final task where you have to beat Fallen or Hardcore mode on a very specific map on a very specific game mode. And as we all know, there are some old quests back in the day that you essentially can't even do anymore. Like for an example, I believe the Cyber Crook boss and the Doom shotgunner skin, because these maps that are these tasks that you are essentially given basically make the players play on a very specific map on a very specific game mode, Fallen, and these maps are nothing but painful. Like for an example, the Cyber Crook boss, where you have to play on space and there's 2 paths, which means double the enemies. Now, I'm not too sure if they actually fixed this problem where you literally have to play on the Infernal Abyss on Fallen mode, which has 3 paths and also triples the amount of enemies, which, Jesus Christ, dude, imagine having like 3 guardians just coming down the path all at once. Jesus Christ, dude, that is already giving me flashbacks to like hardcore. And speaking of hardcore, there are still some missions that require you to play hardcore and, well, beat it, which is already a challenge in itself. Not once, but probably even like a few times in general. This is why I just don't really attempt missions anymore at this point, especially when these skins don't even look that good at all at this point. So, quite honestly, Fallen missions, Jesus Christ, dude, especially the old ones, they really need to rework that shit.
Number 1.
Check this out.
A brand new addition with alongside a brand new update. This time we're talking about the index. Now, as soon as you think about the index, you're thinking about every single monster enemy that you can basically unlock in this game. One of the things that I just really dislike about this index thing is the fact that they are just really difficult to get. Now, honestly, this just seems like I'm just bitching about nothing, because I mean, it kind of is, quite honestly, but it kind of sucks that like you have to play the exact same game mode over and over and over again, especially for a very specific enemy that just will not give you the index for. And let's not forget that final bosses also have these, well, info books. Not only do you have to kill the for an example, the Fallen King once, but you essentially have to beat the game mode and also kill the boss over and over and over again until you get that book. And it's all chance based. It's not guaranteed that you're gonna get it on your first try. I mean, maybe if you're insanely lucky, then yeah, you get it on your first try or whatever, but there's over like 100 enemies in this game and a lot of bosses, especially final bosses, so the fact that you have to kill the exact same final bosses over and over and over again until you might get the book is kind of a bit of a tedious factor in my mind. And let's not forget that in the sandbox mode you can actually like spawn these guys in, which is pretty cool, not gonna lie. But the only bad thing and kind of like a slap in the face is that these guys are copying a bit from EA now, to where you don't get necessarily everything in the sandboxing. Like, why would you? Because if you want to spawn in anything that is kind of oldish, for an example, all enemies from the Peak 7 to Polluted Wasteland, or even Hardcore for that matter, you have to pay an astronomical amount of money. I don't know in what universe that would actually be like a reasonable thing, but Jesus Christ, dude, not only are these indexes just very tedious and just time consuming to actually do, but this addition to the sandbox thing is just a pain in the ass in general.